Hello everyone, and welcome to the Friends of the Feather educational series, The Crop. Oh, don't you just love those old school educational videos that we used to show you in school that were just so staged and ridiculous? Anyway, okay, so my attempt at humor. So this is Felicity, and Felicity's having a little bit of a problem, I think. We have examined Felicity, and we have found, today when I was cleaning out their box, I found that she has a lump right here in a little chest meat. And so the way little chicks work, from my reading, I have understood this. Their beak is basically just the beginning of their mouth, let's say. Their mouth is actually a very long thing, and this down here is where everything that they put in their mouth goes. This is called their crop, formerly known as the craw. Got something stuck in my craw, that sticks in my craw. Yeah, well, this is what they're talking about. This is not supposed to be all bulged out like this. It's not supposed to be hard. Normally, this will enlarge and deflate throughout the day as the chicks eat. This is where everything goes. So if they've been eating, that will fill up until they poo and release it all. So this is supposed to empty completely and be like they said in the morning, but these guys don't really have a day-night cycle yet. So I would just say that periodically throughout the day, this should be empty, or at least not as engorged as this is. So it fluctuates. It goes up and down. Hers is very hard. Like you can see when if you look at her profile, she looks like a little turkey. She's got this big bulgy part right here, and it's huge. And I've been monitoring it throughout the day. I've been checking it like once every couple hours or so to kind of see how it's looking. And it's not emptying all the way, I don't think. So what we did earlier is we took some extra virgin olive oil, and we took a dropper and we just put some drops on her beak, just like 2, to get her to until I saw her swallow, and left her at that. Then I took her and I held her upside down, and I just massaged this a little bit. Now, with internet information, I'm very leery of internet information because, you know, you never know what's gonna be on there. So what I've been doing is I Google search the problem, and I start reading message boards. And if the general consensus says, yes, do this, then I will do it. If I see any negativity, if I see anything negative over like maybe one thing, I will refrain from doing it and consult either someone at the feed supply store or someone through a veterinary practice. So the remedies that I've looked at so far, the apple cider vinegar to take care of the runny poops, that was a very big amount of people saying, yes, this is okay. I didn't see anything that said it would kill them or hurt them in any way. The molasses had some yeses and some nos, so I probably should have heeded that advice a little better. With this issue, with the impacted crop, which can happen to a chick at any age, the older chickens get this as well. If you've ever seen chickens pick up rocks or gravel or dirt, and you're like, why is my chicken eating dirt? They need that. It's like, it's what keeps this down in here flowing. So it gives it something to the food that they eat. It gives it something to kind of bounce around on in there, and it helps break it up. So it's almost like teeth, if you think of this as their mouth. So what I've been doing is every hour or two, I'll come in and I'll just kind of massage this a little bit and kind of check the progress. She's not showing any signs of distress in any way. She's not she's not lethargic. She's socializing fine. I was reading through the symptoms of this being impacted and it being an issue, and it said that check for depression. And I was like, man, I don't even have a chicken-sized couch. How am I going to get her to sit and talk to me? Oh, so I'm just assuming they mean that's like, you know, not socializing, you know, kind of sitting off by themselves, because that's kind of what they would do when they had pasty butt. They would just kind of stand by themselves and sleep a lot. Like, they wouldn't socialize a lot. And these little guys are very social, very curious. If one of them takes a liking or a notice to something and starts pecking at it, you'll see all the rest of them run over to see what it is. So if they're not doing that, if they're not participating with the group, then there's probably something up. The different causes for this, well, we've got, they could be picking stuff up in their enclosure that isn't food. In this case, I believe that's what's happened. I believe that she's picked up a couple pieces of pine bedding that may be just a little bit too big for her to pass. If they can also just not having grit in their diet. The grit thing, as far as giving that to chicks, again, I've seen yeses and nos on that. I've seen some people say yes, give it to them. I've seen some people say no, you know, they're too little. So I'm going to consult an expert on that one. I'm not going to do that until I know for sure. So they could have just an intestinal blockage somewhere farther down the line past the crop that's causing it to back up in their crop. They could have a genetic issue that somehow their intestines didn't form right, so it doesn't properly process things. And that, I think that's, you would probably see that be the detriment of a chick at a very early age. I'm sorry, the other signs that they have this is the lethargy, not socializing, not eating, not drinking. Also, if they walk around with their beak half open, like they're gasping for breath or something, that is a sign that they could be have an impacted craw. And also, if they are like almost heaving and gagging, like they're trying to heave something up, that can also be a sign that they're in distress. Again, she has shown none of these signs. All I'm seeing is her craw has been very, very poofy all day. It has not emptied. I've noticed the other chicks, I've been checking theirs to just kind of compare, and theirs are not as big, and they are kind of enlarging and then going back down. Her poops are still good. She's still pooping fine. There's no diarrhea. She doesn't seem to be having any trouble. So no outward sign of distress other than this big bulgy spot. And as you can see, she really doesn't mind if you mess with it. Like it's almost like it relaxes her for it to be massaged. So she doesn't like getting there, but once we're there, she's good to go. So the ways to fix this. Extra virgin olive oil or any type of cooking oil is what I've read. It seems to be the most popular. Just take a couple drops with a dropper, put it on their beak. You know, try to get it to loosen up on its own. I did read where they did not recommend this, and I as well do not recommend this without veterinary assistance. But actually putting tweezers down inside of their mouth and into their craw to pull out whatever the obstruction is. I would not recommend that if you're not, you know, very versed in chicken lore, because I don't think I would be brave enough to do that. Even for little Felicity, I don't think I would do it. Just the method I'm going with is just I used olive oil and got her to drink a couple drops, and then just every couple hours I'm massaging this and trying to kind of get it to break up a little bit. I'm not sure it's working because this actually feels harder than it did when I first did it. So I don't know if that's good or not, but it's a crapshoot as to how hard you should push. I really don't know. But it's mushy. I mean, I can feel it down in there. And like I said, she hasn't been not eating or, you know, abstaining. We did get a little bit of oil on us, but it doesn't seem to be hurting anything. So I'm going to let her go, see what happens in the morning. I'm going to look and see what it looks like in the morning, and maybe do the oil treatment again if it happens to still be impacted. So we'll see what happens. So I wanted to kind of give you an example of what a proper craw is supposed to look like. This is little Parabola, and she's been doing pretty good. She's the smallest of the bunch, but she's clucking right along. So same breed as Felicity and everything, but when he sits, you can see there's no bulge here at all. He's very flat right here. And if you feel, there's a little tiny ball right there. Feels like just like a very, very tiny marble. And I think that's pretty normal. It's pretty hard, but it's certainly not engorged and enlarged like Felicity's is. She's got a nice thin torso, looking good. I know. Sound off, baby. Let him know. Let him know. Yeah, next door's fine. Next door's fine. I'm sure they would love to hear you. All right, he's unhappy. I just wanted to give everyone an example of what that's supposed to look like, and then what hers looks like. Here's a little side-by-side comparison here. We've got, come on, baby, I know. Okay, so you see, I think there's hardly anything down here on his chest compared to hers. It's pretty significant. And then hers is just a little tiny thing right there. So yeah, some major differences. But there's little babies. I hope someone out there finds that helpful. I know I've learned a lot about chicken crops, just in the, and not crops of chickens, but their actual crop. I've not actually like started from baby and raised chicken on my own. So I am like beginner novice at raising chickens. So if anybody out there has any other suggestions, recommendations, anything I got wrong, anything I could do better to maybe help this crop issue with her, let me know, please, in the comments, so that way I can help out little Felicity and maybe avoid it in the future. But yeah, I think we're going along well. I hope that she does okay. As you can see, it hasn't hurt her appetite in any way. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow.